Monday in class we talked about doing contour line drawings of an animal of your choice. I chose a lion, so I did a contour line drawing of a lion. I cut him out. Remember we talked about he needed to cover the entire page or most of the page. I cut him out, and then we talked about the fact that you want to separate your lion into shapes or into spaces, and so I separated into each individual space, into his eyes, and gave him features, each of the little parts of his mane, and I went over those after I cut him out with Sharpie in order to make drawing him easier. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm now going to open up my sketchbook to 2 completely blank pages. There should be nothing on the back of these pages. And I'm going to lay down my creature, my lion, and I'm going to trace him. So I'm just tracing the outline of him. And make sure you're holding him down so that he doesn't move. Okay, after I've traced him on one side, I want to trace him on the other side. So I'm going to just scoot him over. I'm actually going to flip him upside down so that there is a mirror image there. So now that I've flipped him upside down, I want to make sure that I'm as close to even as I can be. So I'm noticing this little one down here at the bottom is almost to the edge of my paper. So I'm going to try to get this one down here almost to the edge. I'm going to try to even these up. You can also look at where this one connects. So I really want it to look like it just flipped over on the page. I want it to be even. Okay. Then I'm going to hold it upside down and I'm going to trace it again. Once I have traced them on both sides, I need to do all of this inside part, and that's why I went over it in Sharpie. I can actually slide it under the paper, and it may take me a minute, but I can line it up with the outside. It's pretty close. And then I can finish drawing it by just following those lines. So all of those parts that I traced, I'm going to trace a second time. I'm going to make sure that I get all the details on the inside traced. Alright, so that gives me all of my shapes Now I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to flip it over on the back, and for the most part my Sharpie bled through, but I'm going to go ahead and reinforce those lines so that I don't have a trouble retracing them on the other side. So I'm just tracing the back side of this paper. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to slide it up underneath, line it up, which may take me just a minute. And then I'm going to trace it on this side as well. Make sure stuff doesn't look lined up perfectly to me. There we go. And I'm just going to go around and do the exact same thing I just did. Alright, we've now got our positive and negative space traced on both sides.